What is going on, guys? This is Cal. Welcome back. Thanks for checking out the video. Bringing you another Witcher 3 build guide. This is a very different build to the one I did, the last one that I did, which was all about signs. This one was all about combat, and this one honestly is more fun. It's a little bit harder to play because you have to be more aware of your environment and really just try to get the best position. So it takes a little bit more skill, but it's all about maneuvering and utilizing the best combat abilities that the game has to offer. Now, there's obviously multiple ways you can build this, but I did make some changes. I saw a Reddit post that recommended some skills, so I'm trying them out. And they're pretty good. They definitely help as far as being able to cast your Quen just for that protection. And we have no points in signs whatsoever. It's strictly combat and alchemy with two skills in the general tab. So I'm gonna run down the skills really quick and I'll explain why this build is so good. Now, it's basically taking the best of the hybrid world that I had on my signs build video and just adding more to it. So everything here is still the same. I put 5 points in muscle memory, 5 in strength training, 5 in crushing blows, 5 in precise, 5 in whirl, 5 in rend, 5 in sunder armor. Now these next two skills here are the ones that I saw on Reddit that were recommended, so I put 2 points in deadly precision. You see, you get that when you have that adrenaline point build up, it'll give you a chance of instantly killing an enemy, which is really nice. And then I have 5 points in razor focus, so when you go into combat you get that quick adrenaline point, which is really good, and it generates faster as well. So I do apologize for the Call of Duty update there, but going into the alchemy tree, I also have acquired tolerance, tissue transmutation, synergy, and killing spree. Now killing spree is crazy. This is a really insane ability. If you have tons of enemies to kill, if you go into like a stronghold for example, once your toxicity is above 0, you get 50% crit chance for every opponent that you take down, and it just keeps on going. So it's really, really good. You're gonna always crit at that point. And then tissue transmutation gives you some nice extra vitality, which is really helpful as well. Why not? And then of course acquired tolerance for multiple decoction use, like in my last video. Synergy, so that you get more out of your mutagens. Instead of getting 40% attack power, for example, you get 60% if you use the greater mutagen there. So that's really good. And then here are the other two abilities that the one major skill that I saw on Reddit. This is Rage Management. So if your stamina level is too low, you can cast signs with adrenaline points. I guess that's pretty helpful. I'm still basically testing to see just how useful it is, but it definitely comes in handy if you need to pop Quen and you don't have your stamina up just yet. One of the things that you get spoiled with if you're playing a signs build is how fast your stamina regen is. It's just not going to be the case with this. Stamina regen is really, really low, so your goal is to just not get hit, to have to pop Quen again, just to be constantly taking enemies out. But you'll see that the only gameplay I'm going to show you for this after is probably me taking out some guards, and based on the way I take out guards, you pretty much know that if it's regular enemies, it's going to be a lot faster than that. Guards are obviously a lot tougher in this game, especially New Game Plus on Death March. They're question marks because they're so high level, they can always one-shot you, so they're a little bit harder to even gauge as far as just how effective your build is. And if you're taking them out pretty fast, then you understand that your build is really good, or your damage is really high. So these are the skills that I have, and as far as the mutation goes, we're using Euphoria because we're going to stack toxicity like crazy, and we're popping a lot of different decoctions. So once we have those potions going, it ups your damage dealt for each point of toxicity by 0.75%, which is crazy. So you get a nice buff on that. I usually have just over 160 to 170% damage, depending on, if I just activated them or not. So these are the skills, these are the way I have them slotted in. It's a pure combat build. Once you use Euphoria as your main mutation, it makes all your mutagen slots or your skill slots in the middle are all going to be alchemy based, so you move your alchemy skills over there. Now, if you are higher leveled and you have more mutation, like if I have this, if you have the final mutation skill slot, I could move this green ability, Killing Spree, I could move it over to this bottom slot, and I would have some room here to potentially maybe put some points into signs. I could possibly do something like Exploding Shield for Quen, or if I want to dump a whole bunch of points, I could get Quen Intensity. That's something that's possible, but for now, this is the way that I'm playing it. So as far as gear goes, I'm going to show you guys here. The weapons are different. I'm not using the full 6 set. because I don't think it's really needed. Now, these two are crafted. I crafted both of these, and the reason I'm using them is because of the 100% critical hit damage bonus. It's really nice. Chance to poison, crit chance in general. I have the Severance rune attached to both of them. There are other rune words you can use, but I do recommend these two. They're really, really cool. I like Severance a lot. It's a personal preference thing. There's another one that has it where you get added damage when you're at full health. If there's vitality regen, that one's recommended. You can also put some bleed runes or stagger or stun. There's different things you can apply here in your sockets if you don't want to use a rune word, a Severance rune word to begin with. And then I'm using the 4 set of the feline armor. And the reason the 6 set, I actually played the 6 set quite a lot before I even did these two swords. I picked them up when I was playing through the DLC and I thought they were really great, so I decided to craft them. But the 6 set, it just deals with rear attacks, and rear attacks is just too situational. A lot of times you're not even going to be getting that stun because you're just taking enemies head on. So I don't think it's really worth it. I have played around with it, and I can't say that there's a noticeable difference where I'm amazed at the total damage that you're getting. But all you have to do is make sure you lead with a strong attack, and then you hit fast attacks after that with the 4 set, or the 3 set, sorry, and you'll be good to go. Now I'm using Quen Intensity in my sockets here for the gear. Really, really nice. And then these two swords, like I said, you can pick them up and craft with them. It's a really, really good build. And before I show you gameplay, let me show you the potions that I'm using. Troll Decoction here gives you the vitality regen outside and in combat. And the Echidna Decoction, whenever you use stamina, you're going to get vitality back. And this potion here is really, really great. If you're someone who's playing Death March and you're actually trying to run through the game for the first time on Death March, you should have the Echidna Decoction, because you can't rest and replenish your health. So Echidna is really great. You can just jump in place, you can roll, whatever the case, you're going to get your health back. And it works really well when I'm using Rend or Whirl. My health would just go right back up if I even took any damage. And then the Water Hag Decoction, you need to have 100% health so you can get this 50% damage bonus from Water Hag. Really important. Thunderbolt, again, 35% attack power. You want to use that. These are just the go-to. You don't have to worry about using a Swallow on this because you always have health coming back to you just by performing actions, and that's really the key. It's a really solid build. It's honestly more fun than the sign build, just because of the overall mobility, the awareness. You're not just kind of standing around. The sign build, I saw a comment actually on my sign video for the Griffin set saying that it really doesn't look like it's much fun. It's very true, because I've been messing around with builds on this game and changing things up, and one of the reasons I started doing that was because when I got the Griffin set, after a while I got really bored doing it, because as good as it is, you're just constantly standing there and you're not really doing too much. Although it is really cool, it's a very effective build. This here is just more for the overall combat style, and the pace is just really, really great. You have the ability to quickly dispatch enemies because of Euphoria once you have your potions going, so it's really, really strong. But again, it's more or less the same. In this game, you can always make adjustments as far as builds go, and you can have higher numbers than what I might have right here. But at the end of the day, it's a single player game, so when you do that stuff, it's giving you an additional boost, but it isn't really necessary for you to have all of that, because at the end of the day, Death March difficulty only goes so high before it stops. So this is my DPS on the Silver Sword, 7,000. There's better swords out there that I've seen. The Erendite, I think Erendite, or however you say it. It's a quest sword that I have yet to pick up. That basically would be the replacement sword that for what I have right now. And then this is my Silver Sword. You know, it's pretty standard stuff. As you see, the Psi intensity is there. Stamina regen is not very good, only 13 in combat. Whereas when I do like the Griffin sets, like roughly around like 30 to 40 or something like that, I believe. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know, share your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see you guys in another video. I do apologize for this video being a little bit later. It should have been earlier than I intended, but it just ended up this way. So I'm going to bring you another build probably in a couple days, just using bombs and stuff like that. I'm still trying to figure out how it really plays, if it's even worth playing, but we'll see. So my name is Cal. Thank you for watching. See you guys later.
Think you can do whatever you please? I knew you. Now, all together! For swordsman! He's stubborn-necked!